Welcome, Hawks, to this week's episode of Mic Drop. Now, Mic Drop is kind of a newer thing I wanted to try for this channel, or for this, for the show. It's what I want it to be is kind of a retrospective on albums that I've really liked so far this year, or even just albums that I've liked years prior. So let's get right into it. So for this first episode, I was kind of thinking I wanted to do Private Music by Deftones. Private Music was just such an incredible album to come out from Deftones. It's a highly anticipated long-playing record from Deftones. Their genre-defining style, ever since their conception in 1988, has gained them fans that have been decades-spanning and have gained them new fans ever since. Emerging on the nu metal alt-rock scene heavily in the 90s, Deftones brought raw vocals with kind of mixed singing, primal screaming from the lead singer Chino Moreno, soaring and rhythmic guitars from Stephen Carpenter, explosive drumming by Abe Cunningham, and interesting concepts brought to the band with a hip-hop-like style on the turntables, Frank Delgado. This album came out after a 5-year hiatus, which is the longest spanning hiatus the band has had to date. This album kind of mixes their best era of rock rap from the 90s, as well as the more recent dreamy shoegaze style that they have kind of leaned more heavily into. The rollout of this album was insane. It was huge for probably me and most of the rest of the world, at least those who like Deftones. On top of that, I really don't think they could have done it any better. I mean, they only released 2 singles. One is called My Mind is a Mountain in July, and Milk of the Madonna in August, which the album came out in August, so that was kind of right. It was scheduled right, I should say. But I'll be honest, in hindsight, I might have set my expectations too high. I didn't really like either single that much when they came out. I was a little underwhelmed, just to put it lightly. Looking back on it, though, it was such a good teaser as to what the mood of the album was going to later be, I feel like. Plus, the decision to only release 2 singles kept anticipation for the full LP pretty high. So let's kind of just get right into it. For the first track, My Mind is a Mountain, as I mentioned, it was the first introduction we got to this record, and fittingly, it's track number 1 on the record. My Mind is a Mountain is an excellent example of the band's ability to combine really heavy guitars and also ambient layers. With shoegaze elements, industrial, and metal, the track ebbs and flows with a range of dynamics and intensity. Honestly, just the perfect track to kick it off. Coming in at number 2, Locked Club. I gotta say, Locked Club introduces the more aggressive hardcore feel that Deftones is well known for. And once again, it kind of highlights the band's ability to blend different genres together, with even some elements of rap in there that Chino Moreno likes to play with. He's done it a lot more on his earlier albums, like Around the Fur and White Pony have it a lot. It's not my least favorite from the record. I don't think the vocals that Moreno delivers or his pitch work that well with the all instrumentals, and kind of throws off just the heaviness of the track. However, the concept of the lyrics, talking about how people kind of tend to fall into tribal mindsets just throughout life, therefore excluding others from what they perceive as their circle, resonates with me pretty heavily. It's like kind of how in high school, if you're not in somebody's group, if you're not one of the popular kids, you're out. You're just kind of forsaken almost. It seems like, and this song kind of touches on that, which is where I think the name Locked Club comes from for the song title. Moving on to track number 3, Ecdysis. I think either way, it's easily one of the more heavier hitters on the album, and for good reason. I mean, the song's atmospheric build-up and textured instrumentals create a sense of almost metamorphosis, which is it's unironic due to the title of the song. Ecdysis, I think, simply it's a fancy term for transformation or renewal. So I think that's where they got the name from. It's almost, I mean, it's got a sinister bass line on top of the synth riff that just creates a soundscape that completely tethers you, and almost feels like you're, being held hostage, almost demanding your attention. The beginning kind of it kind of reminds me of something we could have heard off of their White Pony record. I won't really try to compare it too much to their earlier work, just because this is a completely new album, and I think they tried their best to come at it under a new light rather than try to live in the shadow of themselves. But I will say it's kind of comparable to Digital Bath, like in the beginning. I don't know. Go listen to Digital Bath and let me know in the comments what you think about that. Moving on to track number 4, Infinite Source, which, let me just say, transitions perfectly after Ecdysis is Infinite Source. The lush, synth-like guitar. It comes in with almost a gent-like structure, paired with the drums pretty intently. Like, you can tell that the guitar and the drums coincided with each other, and whenever they were writing that song. I would say off the whole record, the production on this track specifically is exceptionally sleek and smooth, which really contributes to the album's cohesiveness. Track number 5, Souvenir. Souvenir is kind of in the same boat as Locked Club for me. For the same reason I'm not a huge fan of Locked Club, Souvenir has vocal moments that could be huge. Could be. They probably would be had the band written and released the song, sometime earlier in their career, when Chino Moreno actually maybe had the vocal ability that he did for some of his earlier work. I guess to give it some credit, the track's introspective lyrics and melodic structure offered a bit of a reflective moment within the album, but I think, as a whole, it's not my favorite. Number 6, CXZ. This one is just kind of unnecessary on the album. I don't like it. CXZ, I don't know. It may as well be a B-side track. It's compared to the rest of the album, it seems pretty half-hearted. Not really too much positivity I can bring to this, or put toward this track. It's not the greatest. Track number 7, I Think About You All the Time. Very Deftones, kind of tongue-in-cheek there. I Think About You All the Time is it's a beautiful song, and it's a place between songs that it was a much welcome change of pace. I feel like as I've gotten older, I've sort of gravitated more towards the stripped-back, intimate style of Deftones that they bring to this track. Not to mention the theme of the song itself, which kind of delves into longing and almost borderline obsession about someone or something. Chino Moreno's haunting vocals convey that sense of emotional intensity perfectly. And to top it off, the song's minimalist arrangement allows the lyrics to be the center of attention, creating, for me, an almost bittersweet listen. Number 8, Milk of the Madonna. Milk of the Madonna was the second introduction we got, kind of to the scope of the record and how it was going to be like. Milk of the Madonna is kind of a play on spiritual and religious imagery. All in all, this track really brings all the elements of Deftones to life, and what Deftones have always kind of been about, with its signature heavy downtuned riffs from Stephen Carpenter, and Moreno's balance between the whisper-like singing that he does sometimes and just the soaring deliveries that he's very well known for. Moving on, number 9. Cut Hands really showcases the band's aggressive side with deliveries that just fly at you with machine gun accuracy. I mean, the track's intense energy and rhythms that come non-stop make it a truly dynamic piece, I feel like. To number 10, Metal Dream. Metal Dream is almost a continuation of Cut Hands in a way, but not really in the general sense of like a sieg. It takes more of a cinematic and lush approach with its production, which contrasts Cut Hands in an interesting way. This track just further proves Deftones' excellence in their ability to create immersive soundscapes, and really shows off their range of performance from each member, I feel like. Number 11, Departing the Body. The closing track, Departing the Body, surprised me the most. Moreno's crooning vocals made it sound like someone else was singing entirely. It doesn't. I've personally never heard Chino Moreno sing the way that he did on Departing the Body. It's a style very rarely heard from him, but in my opinion, it's very welcome. The track's ethereal quality brings the album to an atmospheric and otherworldly close, leaving fans really kind of wondering what's next for the band. Truly, yeah. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. I'll be really interested to see kind of where the band goes from here, because after this 5-year wait, it's been interesting to see how much each member of the band has grown and how they've gotten older, what styles they lean more into. I don't know. This album has so much packed into it, and just really kind of further solidifies Deftones' place in the alt-metal world, even today. Overall, I'd probably give this album a 7 out of 10. Yeah. Maybe a medium 7 out of 10. Some of the vocals are a little muddy for my liking, especially on on track number 2 and CXZ. It's not really that they're muddy, they just don't fit, I feel like, especially on CXZ. That song I could do without. But I don't know, all in all, it was a really good album. I'm glad that they decided to make it at this point in their lives, and it's been a joy to listen to. Leave a like and a comment down below if you have any suggestions of albums that you want me to rate or go over. I'd be down to do it again. Thanks so much for tuning in. Catch you guys next time.
Ghosts. Ghosts are like the air. They can't be seen, and they're everywhere. But they are dangerous. And tonight, I'm going to be visiting a local church that is said to be haunted. Witnesses say they've seen doors shut on their own, lights flicker, and many other supernatural things happen. Now, Is this ghost dangerous? Not right now. However, in my experience, ghosts can get very dangerous very quickly. So, I'll be putting myself on the line so that others don't have to suffer. You're welcome. In order to get rid of the ghost for good, we need to know what kind it is. There's many different types that all have unique abilities that can all lead to tragedy. For some examples, poltergeists move objects more often than others. Banshees will cry out for help to lure you to them. And Moris can place curses on someone that sticks with them for a lifetime. But before they do anything crazy like that, they'll create little events or hints that can be linked to their abilities. And that will give us clues on what kind of ghost this is going to be.
It's kind of boring in here tonight.
La 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 la.
It's 12 a.m. and I'm currently camping out in this building to see if anything supernatural will happen. Now, some ghosts are more shy than others, so it's possible that nothing will happen at all. However, I'm willing to take that risk for society. You can thank me all you want, but it doesn't matter to me. The only thing that matters is keeping you guys safe. This art is pretty artsy. Yes, that was me. No, the footage wasn't edited. Look. You guys know what kind of danger I put myself in for you. Just so that the public can sleep well at night. I need a break. I'll be back.
In 2021, an estimated 21 million adults in the U.S. had a major depressive episode, which is about 8.3% of all U.S. adults. Depression can occur at any age, but it often begins in adulthood. It's often first noticed in the late teens, but can appear in the early 20s. Healthy lifestyles can help manage symptoms of depression. These can include eating a healthy diet, getting enough sleep, participating in physical activity, or practicing mindfulness or relaxation techniques.
Do you like yapping, movies, and music? Well, here at Northeast Community College, we got a program where you can do all that. The Media Arts program is designed to prepare students for entry-level positions in the media, broadcasting, journalism, and production industries. This is a really nice program if you want to get your associates and get right into the working force. Jobs that are found after Northeast Media Arts include video editor, field photography, audio/video support, broadcast camera operator, multimedia journalist, movie production assistant or grip, and independent film making. You can only find this at Northeast Community College. Go Hawks.
Okay, after some thorough research, I found that the ghost type is a mare, and mares are typically scared of light, which is why I turned off the lights on me earlier. So, I'm going to be using this. I'll shine it in its face, and then hopefully, it'll go away. It won't even know what hit it. In 2 hours, there's been nothing. Maybe I already scared it off. Crap! Look, it was a tough journey, but I finally got it. And I want to say I appreciate everyone who supported me along the way. Thank you. I've saved lives, and that's something to be proud of. So until next time on